Hey there, what's going on? It's Aurelia Wynn checking in. It has been a minute since we last sat down and talked and met with each other here at Wynn Publications. And so I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back today. Later on, here in just a minute, I will have joining me Kendall Anise, colon cancer survivor. And let me just give you a few facts about colon cancer. If you did not know, March is also Colon Cancer Awareness Month. And so go and get your checkups, stay on top of your health. About 1 in 23 men and 1 in 25 women are likely to get colon cancer in their lifetime. So let's not play about this. Let's not play about this. I'm looking at this website right now with these colon cancer facts on here, and it's saying in people younger than 55 years of age, rates have been increasing. And so just know that this is something to be aware of. Here in a little bit, we'll be sitting down and talking to Kendall firsthand about her survivor story, about what it was like for her to go through this. I want to go ahead and just give a brief introduction while she comes on in. Let me go ahead and actually send this to her so that way she knows we are on. I'm sure she knows. I'm sure she knows. There we go. Sent it to her. Kendall, how did I meet Kendall? I met her, I want to say, almost 4 years ago now, during the pandemic. Okay, during the pandemic is when I really first started coming on Instagram Live, interviewing authors, and authors interviewing me. And it was a blast. And I'm so excited today to be able to connect with her again and talk about this really important cause and just give her some space to share her story with us as well. I have now published, I want to say 5 different books with Kendall, a 30-day guided journal, this small book called Your says, excuse me, Your Unhealed is Showing by Kendall Anise. It's a small book. It's super cute, by the way. It is available on Amazon. You can also get it at winpublications.com. And this is the first one that we were talking about. Not excuse me. This one is called My Personal Journey of Peace 30-Day Guided Workbook. So this was the first book that we worked together. And that came out in April 2021. And so she's got a book anniversary coming up pretty soon. Hey, there she is. Okay, let's get her on in just 1 second. And so we go back a little bit. And so I'm so excited to have this moment to sit and catch up with her and hear what's been going on and hear how she's making it over. Here she comes now. There she is. Hello there.
Is the lighting okay?
Yeah, looks good. We can see you good.
Okay. Hi, boo.
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, long time no see.
I know. You look beautiful.
Thank you. We're on spring break out here this week, and
Us
so
too.
Yeah, I hardly, you know what? I'm like, let me get dressed today, at least for this. Even if I don't go anywhere, I said, let me get up and get dressed.
Yeah. But look,
Yeah.
I want you to see my shirt. I heard you talking about my books. You know, I love you. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
It says, excuse me, is your
Ah,
unhealed showing?
that's this one.
Yeah. So
That's
I
this
said I had to wear, you of course had to represent with my blue ribbon, but I
one.
had
Yeah.
to wear my sweatshirt.
Oh, oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. I love that. Yes. I was just telling the people, I said, you know what? We go back. I had to look back to one of our first interviews. I think you had interviewed me, and I looked back on YouTube and it said May 21st, 2020. I'm like,
What?
wow, that was almost 4 years ago.
What? We became family at that moment.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I said, oh, this is Big Sis. She's
Yes.
been around.
Yes.
So I'm glad that we connect. Let me, before we even get started, let me go ahead and give you your flowers, ma'am. Okay? Because let me tell you something. I know, and I've had this discussion already with Kendall before. I said, you know what, thank you so much for your sisterhood. If it wasn't for the women, even Tiffany, she's in here now, T Soul Librarian, thank you so much. Kendall, thank you so much for
Oh.
your sisterhood. There's nothing like working with other Black women. There's nothing like working with women that really support you and really get it. And when I say I haven't always, now, if y'all have worked with me, y'all know sometimes it can get frustrating. We can get frustrated. There could be, so many things going on. And it really does take, you know, just having that sense of understanding, like, you know what, I'm gonna rock with this person, and we're gonna get this done. And I remember at the beginning, it was a little rough 4 years ago. And so I just want to thank you so much for hanging in there with me, allowing me to growing with me, and continually referring me to your network. Kendall has been holding me down with the referrals, referring me to the network. We're working on other projects now as we speak. And so I just had to make that known. Thank you so much for being one of my top supporters. I'm so grateful, so grateful. And I had to tell you that. I'm like, you know what? You got to give people their flowers while
Oh.
they are still here and in front of you, especially with talking about something like this today. I know the effects that cancer can have on people. And so I want to make sure that I said that right now in this moment. And so thank you so much.
You trying to make me cry the first 5 minutes.
No,
Oh, thank you so much. I
you're welcome.
appreciate you. You know, I'm gonna forever be your big sis. And I told you when we first met, I'm gonna look out for you. Do you remember me
Mm-hmm.
telling you that? I
I do.
said anything
Yeah.
I could do as a single mom, holding it down as you're
Mm-hmm.
doing so beautifully, you know, the things that you have gone through, you know, that's your story to tell, but the things you have gone
Mm-hmm.
through and you starting a publication, honey, I'd be sending you people left and right. They'd be like, you have somebody, I'd be like, yep, yep, there she go. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm grateful. I'm telling you, because I know for some women, either you're a girl's girl or you're not. And for some women, it could be hard to work with other women.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I get that. And so I'm grateful when sisters hang on to me and hold me up and uplift me and push me to the front and talk about me in rooms that I'm not even in. I'm telling you, I'm grateful, and I'm always like, okay, I know I got about 5 women I know that I can count on, and Candella's one of them. To always, I'm like, if someone's praying for me, I know one of my sisters got me. I know somebody's got me, and so
You
just
know
having that is so important. And so, anyways, I just
You
had
know
to
I
start it
got you,
off
girl.
like that.
I got you, girl. I'm gonna keep
Thank
having
you,
you. You know,
thank
we're gonna
you.
do you. You know the way this brain works. We're gonna be having books for you. All these ideas you already know.
Let's go.
And the people in my network and the people that know, they send it to you. And it's so funny because I think I told you this before. I was going to start my own publications company, my own book publications company.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't have to. I'm
Yeah.
just going to refer everybody to Win Publications. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I decided when I met you, and I was working on some things, and I had my, I was going to build my website. I had came up with my name. I had my domain name
Mhm.
saved, and I was ready to do it. And when I met you, I was like, okay, so I'm going to give my business to her. I'm going to
Mhm.
focus on other things. So whatever I would have published, and she knows that I'm not going to bring her no garbage, because
Yeah.
that's under your publication. You don't want to be publishing garbage, you
Right.
know. And I was like, and I'm gonna give them to you, and that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I appreciate it. I
yeah.
appreciate it. So let's get into this then, because it is so important. Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Um, what was your initial reaction when you received your diagnosis?
Well, shock,
Yeah.
because I was going for a routine checkup. Like, I wasn't going because I had symptoms or because I
Mm.
thought I was getting ready to turn 50 3 months from then. And routinely then, now they changed it to 45 and over, but
Mm.
routinely then it was to go at 50. And of course I wasn't even 50, I was 49. I could have waited a whole calendar year,
Wow.
but God was like nudging me to go now, and I did. And at my colonoscopy appointment, they didn't wait, they didn't call me 2 days later, 3 days later, a week later. They told me that
Wow.
day that I had colon cancer.
Mm.
So imagine that. You're not even prepared. It's not like, hey, my arm hurts, doc. Could you tell me what's happening? And they tell you your arm is about to fall off. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't even that. So,
Oh my goodness.
of course, I was in shock.
Yeah.
I said, are you joking? Are you saying what I'm thinking you're saying? And he's like, I wouldn't joke about anything like that. So, of course, they did the biopsy, which I didn't know at that time. And they called me 3 days later and say, okay, we did your biopsy, and yes, it is cancer. And they were like, okay, go ahead and schedule your colonoscopy. I mean, schedule your cancer surgery.
Mhm.
I was like, I already did it. I said, that day that you told me on the way home in the car, I scheduled my cancer surgery. He was like, what? I said, listen, you look at colons every day.
Mhm.
So if you saw a mass or you saw something, then I do believe that. And I believed him. And when he called, he said it is malignant and there is a mass, and he
Mm.
explained some more. And the next week I was in the preliminaries, getting my EKG, my blood work,
Mhm.
getting everything done. And then the next week I was in surgery. It was like that.
Wow.
March
So it moves
5th,
that
I
fast.
found, yeah, March 5th, I found out. And then the next week was all the preliminaries, and then March 18th I was in surgery
Wow.
during colon cancer awareness month. Didn't even know it was colon cancer awareness month.
Oh my
That's how
goodness.
ignorant to the fact I was. I walked into March saying happy Women's History Month. 5 days into the month, your girl's diagnosed with colon cancer.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? And I said this earlier, but I'll share these stats again. Colon cancer affects 1 in 23 men and 1 in 25 women. And so that's not something to play around with.
No.
Absolutely, go and get your routine checks, go and get your colonoscopy done. She's saying 45, even I'm so glad you didn't wait. Can you imagine?
You
Oh my goodness.
I would have. We would have never. We no. We would have known each other for a year, because we met in 2020, and this was
Mm-hmm.
March 2021. Because Sunday I just had my cancerversary, my 3-year
Wow.
cancerversary. So that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 short years ago. For some 3 years is long.
Mm-hmm.
For some 3 years is short. And when I look back at the video,
Yeah.
look at that woman, I'm like, who is she? She's a bad chick. Like, she done been
Yes.
through some things. I look at myself in those old videos. I like, she done been through some things, and she's here looking like she ain't. People, and they're like, you don't look like. So I guess it's like they say, you don't look like what you've been
Yeah.
through. Because,
Yeah.
honey, I done had a story. You talking about story time, honey, we could be like Risa, what's her name?
50
The Reese,
parts. Lord, yeah.
man, we could have 50 parts, honey. If if I was telling my story, it'll be right up there with Risa Tisa.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, by the grace of God, I'm still here. I'm the process. Oh, good. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. She said she's going for hers soon. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And I hope people hear my story and go. I have people that were never going to get one. And because
Mm.
of my story, they've gotten them. Or, it's interesting because I talk about Black women in colon cancer and just the Black community. And I remember when I got colon cancer, I was on Facebook because they got 99,000 groups for everything.
Yeah.
I was looking for Black people with colon cancer, Black women with colon cancer. Zero, nothing.
Wow.
So I was like, well, I need to create one. Clearly, we need a community.
Mm.
And when I did, people were joining. And when I tell you, they were on there saying, I just got diagnosed today. I don't know what to do. Or my mom just passed
Mm.
away. Or, I had it. I survived like you. Or my father had it. Or asking questions. Now, what if I hadn't created that page? Because I didn't have that page.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't go there for information or see somebody survive it like I did. So I'm just grateful, to God that he was like, you don't see it, create it.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing.
Wow. Oh my God. So what helped you get through that process? Because I feel like even I've been following you on Facebook and following your page, and I remember watching a video of you kind of during a reaction of when you were in the hospital, and girl, you just seemed like cheery and you just kept going. I'm like, this girl, I don't know if you stopped to process what was going on, honey. You were just like going through the motion and just trying to,
I know.
I don't know what was going on.
Aurelia, let me tell you something, honey. When I look, that's why I'm saying when I look back, I'm like, who is that woman? Like I still had this joy in my soul, in my spirit. And I'm like, people don't even know, like I'm just getting out of surgery and I'm sitting in the bed and I felt compelled to say, please get your colonoscopies, early detections, everything. The surgeon was like, okay, tomorrow you're going to have to start walking.
Mm.
And I'm like, can I start tonight? Honey, after the surgery, I could barely even walk. I started walking.
Oh,
I had
wow.
joy. I like look on my socials. I put the video up. I had like joy in my spirit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm walking. And I look back at that woman and I'm like, the same way you're looking at it, I'm looking
Yeah.
at it. Like
Right.
how? And that you have to keep in mind with those videos, I had no idea at that point if the cancer was all gone. I had no
Wow.
idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about like what if I didn't even think. And I'm doing that and I look back now, I was like, I didn't even know if it could have still been there.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. So it gotta come from God because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be like, you know what I mean? It's like supernatural because what I'm going through, like I wasn't looking like that I had cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not at all. Not at all. You would have just thought, what is she doing in the bed with her? Why is she making a video? You just had surgery. You just did a video. It's like, wow, she did not. But that's a mother for you, because you're also a mother. But that's also a Black woman for you. You got to keep going. You got to keep going.
That part.
There's a song in my head that says that you got to keep going. Like, ain't no
That's
stopping. You know?
that part.
Yeah. My goodness. My goodness. So I mean, what has helped you? Even though I feel like you continue to remain strong, were there any tools, anything that you had that you were like leaning on to keep you going through, or was it just pure
God. That was
supernatural?
it.
Yeah.
It was God. That was it. Because think about it. If you have never heard those words, you have cancer, or if you've never been through that, you can
Mm-hmm.
empathize, you can sympathize, you can show compassion, right? But you don't know what it's like per se. So even when I have gotten, honored for doing my work and my service in breast cancer awareness and getting people
Mm-hmm.
aware.
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten the greatest honors, from different organizations, right? And I was still there. I was compassionate, but I didn't know personally what those women were going through. I just knew that I wanted to support them. I
Mhm.
didn't know personally what they were going through, and now I understand it. So when someone else can still be compassionate and supportive of me, I don't know, they don't know what I'm going through. You know what I mean? Or
Mhm.
they hadn't heard it. So it's really interesting.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
really interesting. So the only thing is God. I can't, and positive people around me and people praying for me.
Yeah.
Um, and knowing that, I had some friends who had cancer of other kinds and they were still here. So getting encouraging words from them. So I guess those kind combined
Yeah.
is what pushed me through. And of course, most importantly, my kids. I wanted to live. When I first was
Mhm.
diagnosed, I told the surgeon, I was like, I don't want to die.
Mhm.
Because when you hear cancer, I was like, I'm about to turn 50. My youngest daughter's about to graduate from college. And I was like, I don't want it. So of course that was like on my heart and my concern,
Mhm.
because I didn't want to check out. I felt like I still had life to live. And look at 3 years later, like I'm still,
Yeah.
living my life. So just imagine, it's like, I never thought, I
Yeah.
didn't think I was above getting the diagnosis, but I just never, it wasn't even on my radar for that. Like when I go get
Mhm.
my mammograms, it's always a prayer, because you
Right.
hear people, so much getting it. But literally, other than a regular prayer I would do in the morning, like I didn't like really pray for me not to have it, because it was so not on my radar that would be a possibility when I go.
Yeah. I don't think anybody ever goes to the doctor thinking, for a checkup anyway, you might not, oh, this is just routine. Let me just
Exactly.
go, or let me not go. I don't feel like nothing was wrong. Did you have any symptoms prior? What are the
No,
symptoms?
no. 7 out of 10 people don't get symptoms.
Wow.
But God, like when I went to the bathroom, that's why I always say don't rush to flush.
Yeah.
Um, uh, don't be cute, check your poop. And to check it. And I looked at my poop, it looked normal. It looked a little thin on some parts, but I was fiber, like I was taking fiber and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I called my doctor and she was like, well, that's normal when you're taking fiber. But like God was like, no, go. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how it's supposed to look. Because if you eat certain things, your poop looks certain ways. But if
Yeah.
it usually with colon cancer, if it's black sometimes, or if and not you didn't eat anything to make it black. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's blood in the stool, stomach pain, I didn't have any of that. But it was something about when I looked at my poop, I didn't like the way it looked, but it wasn't, but I was having fiber, and that's how it looked too with fiber. So I could have said, well, it says this is how it looks and the doctor says,
Yeah.
but God was like, book your appointment now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I didn't, who knows, if I waited, I probably wouldn't be here.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Just keeping it real.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
real.
My goodness. And so now I know you're also a life coach, right? Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. And so, how has your experience with cancer influenced your approach to coaching others? Has it?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, really, no one's ever asked me that. That's a good question. I've never even thought about that. I'm sure it made another, just like going through a divorce, just like struggling sometime with anxious thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
just like being over 50, just like having a whole life and been life coaching for over 25 years, just like every other aspect of my life. I think it makes me a better coach, because there's not a
Mm-hmm.
lot that you can talk about to me where I'm going to be like,
Yeah.
I don't stand in judgment of any of my clients. And I have been through a lot in life. And some of the things that I've been through. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't stand in judgment. So it gives me just another tool in my tool belt to be able
Mm-hmm.
to coach, because who knows, somebody might come and they're dealing with anxious thoughts and that's when mine came, because of a diagnosis with cancer. so I can, so I can coach through that. Or, I added that part of my coaching because I specialize in many areas, and I even added a free coaching component where I won't charge people if they just got a diagnosis of any kind of cancer and they need to talk. And that's on my website. So if they need to be coached, that's the only coaching outside of the free consultation where it says zero. I'm not charging anybody, man or woman.
Wow, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great, because sometimes that's what people need is just somebody to talk to,
Yeah.
especially, if you don't have a support network, or, a lot of people might not even have children, or, nowadays I feel like I've come across more people like this. I don't know. But a lot of people is just struggling to stay alive. Like,
Yeah.
some people I know I do. I'm so grateful for another day, but there have been times where I'm like, ooh, I gotta wake up again. Like,
Yeah.
man, and
Yeah.
and so it's important to have people to talk to,
Yeah.
but just to know that, what, actually I'm not alone. There actually are people there that care for me. But imagine if you didn't have
Yeah.
that. Imagine if you didn't have a community to belong to,
Yeah.
and then you come across someone like you who has this free service. Man, that can make a world difference in
Yeah.
somebody's life.
And
Yeah.
I think, and it's so funny, I have, been trying to get the word out all month and beyond. And this is the first time I didn't even think about it. So your question was excellent because
Mm.
I don't think I've ever told that to anybody. It's
Mm.
on my site. I don't think I ever had the opportunity or didn't even think about it. So your question was excellent because that gave me an opportunity to remember, because I was like, I kind of forgot.
Yeah.
But I have that on my site. And if you click it to make an appointment, it's zero charge. And I know a lot of people are out for money and like I could still, but I couldn't see in my heart with
Mm-hmm.
God saving me from that and me not seeing any resources out there. Like God will give me money in a different
Yeah.
way, but I'm not going to charge anybody who just got that diagnosis. And like you said, they don't have a community or they don't know, what to do. Then they can
Mm-hmm.
listen to this coach who has experience hearing those words. And I can do the best of my ability to, help them through that process and just hear, because just hearing it is a process
Right.
before you even get any kind of surgery or any kind of chemo or radiation or medicine or whatever you have to go through on this cancer journey. Just hearing it and try to understand, because when I first heard it, I couldn't even say the word cancer. I was saying the C word. I
Mm.
couldn't even say it.
Wow.
Yeah, so to be able to coach someone through that, getting their diagnosis for free, to me, that's like God's work.
Yeah.
That's like payback for saving
Mm-hmm.
me, to help someone else. And I think that that's super important. So if anybody has gotten a diagnosis and they want free coaching, they can go to my website, kendellanese.com, and book a consultation. Not, well, I said consultation, but not a coaching session with me. And we can have that conversation after your diagnosis. Whether your diagnosis was today, yesterday, 6 months ago, or 2 years ago. If you need it, I'm available.
Yeah, that's so important. And even talking to you about this now, my parents are both cancer survivors in their own way. My father had prostate cancer. My mom had breast cancer twice. And
Wow.
as their child, having to in both cases, I was there to help my parents, and I was there with them every day going through it. And so I always wonder what it's like for the family. Did your daughters ever say anything, or do you mind sharing
It's
anything that they
so
may have said?
it's so funny because I had a celebration of life in my third year cancerversary luncheon. I had it
Mm.
on this past Saturday, and everyone, it was just amazing. Everyone went around the table and gave me my flowers. They talked about when we met or how we met, and
Mm-hmm.
they talked about like you were saying, like being an inspiration and how, and I didn't even realize, because I'm just me. I don't care, across the board, wherever I am, whoever I'm with,
Yeah.
I'm like the same. And I had friends from the seventh grade. I told you I'm over 50. Friends from the
Wow.
seventh grade there, and both of them, they were like, the Kendall you see right now is the same person. Even in
Mhm.
the class, she's always smiling,
Mm,
bubbly, joyous. And that was beautiful to hear, because sometimes you go through life and you don't know if you're radiating the same thing, because internally you
mhm.
might be feeling beat down. For them to say that, I'm the same person, a lot of people be like, you're the same, like you don't put on anything, no matter what you do or who you with, like
Mhm.
you're the same. And that means so much to me. That means my heart and spirit is the same. So then
Mhm.
they got to my kids, and they were talking about that day. And my oldest daughter said what you said. She
Mm.
was like, I've seen my mom have joy and happiness, and they know me. They live with me. We live
Yeah.
together.
Okay.
So they were like, I see her have joy and happiness, and even in cases where she shouldn't be. That's what my daughter was
Mhm.
like, she shouldn't be. And my youngest daughter, who she shared that, she said, sometimes she gets anxious and she's like the worrier,
Mm.
right? And she said, when I told her, she did not worry. She knew that I would be okay. And to know her, to know that she's the worry, like, what's going to happen? Are you going to be okay? Are you going to be all right? And that gave me strength,
Wow.
that she was so peaceful in it and sure that I would survive. So think about it,
Mhm.
from somebody who's worrying a lot about things like that, for her. So that gave me a peace. I was like, I'm going to be okay, because she would be worried. And she was in college.
Mm.
And she was in her dorm. She was like, you need me to come home? I was like, no. Because she, remember, she was getting ready to graduate from college. So that was it. She was
Mhm.
graduating in 2 months.
Wow.
And that was March. She was graduating in May. I was like, no, stay, in college, and you're fine. You don't have to come home. And so they're like proud of me,
Mhm.
inspired by me, from what they're saying. And of course, grateful that I'm alive.
Okay. Yeah.
That part.
That part the most. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And I'm right there with them. And even looking at my parents, I'm just like, and I get that feeling when you were talking about your daughter. I get that feeling. I know when both of my parents told me, I was just like, "You're gonna be straight.
Yeah.
You're gonna be straight." And
Yeah.
then the next thought was like kind of selfish, like you need to be straight because we've got some more living to do. Like
Right.
I knew that they were
Right.
going to be straight, but I also had to look them in their face and say, "You, I also need you to know that you need to be okay
Right.
because I still need you here,
Right.
even as an adult child.
Yeah.
Like I still need you here." And
Yeah.
I want to say, like you said, I feel like that gave them strength as well. Like no, I've got to overcome this. And
Yeah.
I know me and you, we've had talks about mental health and
Mm-hmm.
body, mind, and
Mm-hmm.
spirit and that kind of thing. And I do think, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, that your mental wellness, or even your just your ability to keep your spirit and your mind up, can also play a role in how things go. What do you think?
No, I absolutely agree with you, because nighttime is when I was struggling, when it was
Mm-hmm.
quiet and I was
Mm-hmm.
alone with my thoughts. And then it was like, what if you don't live? What if you don't survive? The enemy creeps in,
Yeah.
and you like, well, what if you don't, And, I told the story at my luncheon, like, I didn't even that week up until my surgery, for some reason, I just didn't even want to be in my bed. Like, I would sleep on the couch that whole week before the surgery. I don't know why. I don't know. It could have been comforting. I don't know. But I just did. And I would be up and the thoughts. So trying to pray through that and keeping my mental straight and not lose my, like my marbles, because
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to be beneficial to healing.
Right.
People don't understand stress and mental anguish and, emotional distress, all of that can play a part in your physical health. So
Mm-hmm.
me having to really talk myself down and then pray and then talk myself back up and then pray. And of course, nobody knew that was my internal struggle, because I'm not going to wake my daughters up or call my daughter and call and say, hey, I just can't, I don't know, because that's going, mothers aren't doing that,
Yeah.
because they don't want to, you don't want to put that on your children because they have
Mhm.
enough. But that was my concern. but I had to know, and I had to speak positively, and I had to be for sure that I was going to be okay and change my, if I had a negative thought, I would replace it real quick with a positive, like, you're going to be here. Like,
Yeah.
even if I didn't know to believe it,
Mm-hmm.
I was still speaking it and changing that reverse,
Mm-hmm.
changing it, in reverse, because that's the only thing I know how to do. That's what I would tell somebody else if I was coaching someone else. I
Yeah.
would be like, place that negative thought with a positive thought. So I'm gonna coach myself. So I coach myself through it,
Mm-hmm.
and prayed through it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we gotta do. And even if it, even if it was just a situation where it wasn't a colon cancer diagnosis,
Yeah.
maybe it was just a bad day. I think it's important that we have those skills.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if you don't mind, let's talk about that a little bit more, about replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts, and just the power in that, not only to we're not talking about being delusional and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. There was still a high likely chance that things are going to be okay, but
Yeah.
also combining that with positive thought and prayer and having a support system,
Yeah.
all those things together. It's like, to me, it's like stacking boxes on top of
There
one of
you
another
go.
until you get all the
There
way
you
up
go.
there. So
There you go. And
it's
if
just a,
you gotta fake that until you make it,
yeah.
and I coined the phrase faith it till you make it. Like,
Wow.
have the
Yeah.
faith. I got a t-shirt of my own. I put that on a t-shirt, everything,
Put that on
because
a
it's
t-shirt.
like, yeah, you girl, I put everything on a t-shirt. I done put this on a sweatshirt. Shoot, I always call me the mad scientist I call it my little workshop. Shoot, my sweatshop, I call it. But even if you gotta fake, even if you're not feeling it all the way, you have to speak that into your life. And even if
Mm-hmm.
you gotta fake the joy, or fake the okayness, or fake it, and that's
Mm-hmm.
not acknowledge, but you still acknowledge that you're not okay. So you don't ignore your feelings, you still honor your feelings. But if you can't just talk to yourself negatively all day or have negative thoughts, you got to replace them. If not, you're gonna be in a ditch forever.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's how depression and all of that comes on when you're just
Yeah.
in that hole.
Yeah.
But that's why I say having a support system, because even then sometimes you gotta have somebody else praying for you. And I know
Yeah.
for me, sometimes it's just I might text a friend like, hey, right now me and God, I'm upset.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
pray for
That's
me?
real.
And friends will, hey, I got you. I
That's
got you. I'm gonna,
real.
and having somebody, at least one person, get you one person and let them know they're the one person.
That's
Hey,
real.
if I'm not okay, can I message you? And even, whether you're watching this now or you're watching this on a replay, write that person's name down right now. Contact them right
Mm-hmm.
now. With the way
Mm-hmm.
things are going, life is too short. You just never
Mm-hmm.
know when
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna need that
Mm-hmm.
person. And things can change.
Yeah.
The day before your diagnosis, what were you doing?
Oh, I
Do
don't
you remember?
even remember. No, I wasn't thinking it out. I was probably marching around doing a video about Women's History Month. That's a good question. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know.
yeah.
I had cancer and
Living.
walking around, honey, didn't even know it. I'm
Didn't even
probably
know.
do do do. But I look at old videos. I was like, "Oh, you don't look right." I couldn't see it then,
Hmm.
but I can look back at old videos right before that, and I'm like, "Oh, I probably had cancer and didn't even know it because I
Hmm.
don't look right."
Hmm.
I was like, "Oh, I don't look like myself." But when you're looking with yourself every day, you think you look fine, honey.
Yeah.
I look back, I'm like, "Who's that woman there?" I didn't look like myself.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and I found out later that I had carcinoma of the stage 2 carcinoma of the descending colon. So I was already at stage 2. I wasn't at 0. I was already at stage 2. So, honey, I don't know how long it was there. And if
Wow.
had I waited, come on, it's just 2 more stages.
Yeah.
Had I waited, I might have been checked
Yeah.
out. So God was purposeful.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's so important to trust that inner voice, that
Yeah.
knowing, your intuition, what you want to call it, trust it, listen to it, lean into it. I the other day, and I have to mention this because someone said, well, no, you can't always trust yourself. Who can? I do. I like the mistakes I make. Whether if I'm gonna make a mistake, at least I made the mistake. It was one that I made, but I'm going to trust
Right.
myself because a lot of times in trusting myself, I've been right. If something don't feel right, it's not for me to keep trying to figure out. Well, let me see. No, trust
Yeah.
that. And it's not always about just being scary or being worried
Yeah.
or anxiety. That's something different. Sometimes
Yeah.
it can just be, like you said, you had, the voice of God was telling you, no, go get that checked out, go get
Yeah.
that looked at. And
Yeah.
sometimes we try and be like, trying to make sense of it.
Yeah.
No, if you feel the urge to go get away from something or to go look into something, especially concerning your health, listen to
Yeah.
that. Listen to that.
Yeah.
Listen to that. And that might be the first time that you trust yourself because I was just
Yeah.
made aware of it that a lot of people don't trust
Yeah.
themselves. I'm like, what the heck? I trust
No,
myself.
no.
I don't know
Even
about
if
that.
even if you trust yourself and you don't think you're making the right choice, at least you
Yeah.
know that you blame
Yeah.
you or you do better. It can be a learning experience, even if it's not, but you still got to trust yourself. You
Yeah.
running around telling other people, you could trust me, you could trust
Right.
me. Right. I
Right.
can't trust nobody who don't trust themselves.
Come on.
I'm
Yeah.
not trusting nobody that don't trust themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
Mm-mm.
that's so important. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, next question. What are some key lessons or insight you've gained then from your journey since then in these last 3 years?
I knew it before, but life is a gift. Every moment should be treasured.
Yeah.
Listen to your body, listen to your gut instinct, listen to God's nudge. I don't ignore my discernment any longer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't entertain nouns, person, places, or things that are not serving me, not adding to my joy, not adding to my life in some type of way. And I'm not talking about always tangible. I'm talking about adding light, adding love, adding support
Mm-hmm.
to my life, adding an encouraging word, adding laughter, adding joy. Like, I'm not entertaining any person, place, or thing that is not going to be conducive to my best health,
Come on. Yeah.
emotionally, mentally, or physically,
Yeah.
or spiritually.
Yeah. That one too.
Period.
That one too.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Stress ain't the
Boom.
way. And that's why I will bring this back. My personal journey of peace. This was the first book that we worked on together and I loved it. I was like, okay. One of the things that I love about being a publisher, someone asked me, what do you like about it? I get to read all the good stuff first before anybody else does. I get to read it. I get to read it first and it gets to touch me
Flip
and
through that
minister
so
to
they can
me.
see it ain't no regular journal. Flip through that for them. Let them
Oh,
see. Like, I curated all the questions. It's no template. It's no
let me see if
template.
I can.
It's
Do
no
y'all see?
template. Right.
Do y'all see it?
Y'all can do y'all work. Available on
Yes, it
winpublications.com.
is.
Come on. Come on.
And so, no, but it's important that we talk about these things as well because again, this whole thing is holistic. You've got to take care of your health. You've got to take care of yourself. One of the best things that someone told me is, you've got to have your own front and you've got to have your own
Come
back.
on.
And that just means being responsible for yourself in health really is wealth. Because if you're not living, what you gonna do? That's it. That's it. That's
Because how
all.
you going to live your best life if you ain't even taking care of your life?
Exactly. Exactly. And so don't play with yourself, and I know, and maybe some of it is fear, maybe some of it is fear. Some, are afraid to go to the doctors and to go get themselves checked out because of what they might hear.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, at least you'll know if there's something wrong that it can be taken care of. Now, we're not going to talk about, doctors not doing right. I always think people should get 2, 3, 4 opinions if need be, You know,
Mhm.
again, that's just, you have to move with your own sense of
Mhm.
discernment when it comes to yourself.
Mhm.
Advocate for yourself
Mhm.
and get some other opinions. But I like what you said earlier. You said you trusted your doctor right away. You didn't
Mhm.
wait. You did not
I'm
wait. You were like,
like,
okay.
if somebody gonna look at a carburetor all day and they're a carburetor expert and they can
Mhm.
tell you about carburetors from 1932 to 2022 and their whole conversation is about the carburetor, then if you tell me my carburetor is acting up, I'm going to believe that
Yeah.
because you done broke it down, you done explained it to me, and you a carburetor specialist. If you
Yeah.
looking at colons every day, all day. You've been doing this for years. If you see a colon is supposed to look one way and mine is dark, mine is this, mine is whatever, and you can see a mass on there, I am going to believe you. I'm not going to wait and sit back. I'm going to
Mhm.
believe you. I'm not claiming that I have it. I'm not owning that I have it, but I'm being wise. I'm not going to sit back. I don't
Mhm.
got no cancer. God ain't give me no cancer. No, it didn't come from God, but that don't mean you don't
Right.
have it
Right.
or you weren't diagnosed. Now, whether you keep it, whether you claim it, whatever words you decide to use, you still have to use wisdom, right?
Mhm.
So I believed it and I booked. I mean, what is the worst that can happen when I booked my surgery? They call me and say, "Oh, you don't have it." I'd be like, "Okay, cancel the surgery."
Yeah.
Like, what was it going to hurt?
Mhm.
And when he told me, I did. And then I went to go to the surgeon, and then he wanted to do his own check because he wanted to see where he was going to have to, do surgery and
Mhm.
plan everything out. So yeah, I listened.
Yeah. Yeah. This comment says during her breast cancer or diagnosis, I was the same way with my team. Yeah, God sent me to them, and I trusted it. Yeah,
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 and that takes having some sense of discernment and knowing, because I mean, and I think that sometimes that adds to people's fear for not going to the hospitals.
yeah,
Well,
because you don't want to hear
I'm
it.
black or I'm Mexican, I'm this and I'm that, and these white doctors or even some black doctors, they don't fool with me and
Yeah,
blah blah blah. Or I've
because
had
my
some
doc,
terrible
neither one of mine
experiences.
were black.
Wow.
The doctor
Yeah.
that did the colonoscopy or the surgeon, but
Mm-hmm.
God was in control at that point. And yeah, you want doctors that look like you and everything, but you also want specialists. And if that special, I found out later, honey, that my colon cancer surgeon was world renowned. Had no clue.
Wow.
I looked him
Oh my
up when
goodness.
I first had him, and I'm like, wow. I don't care if he was a leprechaun. If
Yeah.
he was the best to do it,
Then
then you know
yeah.
I trusted the way everything was laid out. I trusted that because I'm not trusting in the doctors anyway. I'm trusting in their ability and
Mm-hmm.
their expertise and their knowledge and their college education. But ultimately, I'm trusting God. So, the prayers that went up for me, from myself and from others and strangers is protecting, like putting God in his hands, like literally the doctor's hands as he's
Mm-hmm.
doing surgery and his heart and the people there, because that's really what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like I can write. I never ever since I was a child have gotten writer's block. Like I can write right now. I can sit here and write the most beautiful poem as I'm talking to you. That is
Mm-hmm.
not me. That's God. That is my one of my gifts is writing since I was a child. Like I can write anything, you
Mm-hmm.
know, from an essay to a short story to a long story to a movie script to whatever. I can write with no writer's block.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take the credit because that's a gift that God gave me and it's flowing through me. So
Yeah.
even me being a great writer, right? If that doctor is his gift is medicine and he
Mm-hmm.
can do it with ease and that's his gift and that's a gift that God gave him, with the education, God is still working through me when I'm writing because it's not coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at the surgeon, it's like God is still working through him and he's doing what he's doing, and it's just like just writing, writing is
Mm-hmm.
technical sometimes and certain things I'm not going to write in all lowercase letters. I'm still going to add
Right.
punctuate. I'm still going to do it. So there are fine tuned things that you have to know about writing. You can't just dump
Mm-hmm.
all your thoughts out unless it's a journal. But just
Mm-hmm.
like with medicine, there are certain things that he went to school for. There are fine-tuned things that he has to do, and it's coming through God. So people have their gifts,
Yeah.
So I'm sure people go to college to be doctors all the time and never make it through because they don't have that gift or something that they're not
Mm-hmm.
retaining or getting. So, I believed it
Yeah.
because God was setting stuff up the way he was setting it up too well.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm like, wow, what did it take you 2 weeks for you to get the surgery done from the time you got your diagnosis to the
Yeah.
end of the operation? Yeah.
And that was because I had to do, and that was only because then I had to do, MRI, cat, the scans, the MRIs, and then with contrast, which it colors the spots that needs. I had to do that,
Mm.
EKGs, blood work, all the preparation to make sure I was able to have surgery. So that was
Okay.
all the next week after, and then I was getting wheeled into a surgical room, like all in a month that I had even no idea. Like it was like this. It was
Yeah.
no time. It wasn't like, okay, your surgery is 2 weeks out or 6 months out or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, a month out, 3 weeks. It was
Yeah.
like boom, boom, boom.
Oh my goodness.
And I didn't need, because even that bit of time, my mind was racing with all kind of thoughts. Imagine if I had to sit on that for 2 months.
Oh
Man,
my
I'd be a
goodness.
nervous wreck.
Okay.
Praying and then saying, all right, God, I know I gave it to you, but I'm taking it back. Okay,
I'm
God,
gonna take this back.
come on. All right, God, you know your girl, I'm over here. Like we would have been going back and forth,
Wow.
because it's anxious. And I'm telling you, my anxious thoughts were getting the best of me at some times. But when I tell you, everything was lined up when I went to the hospital, still kind of anxious. The night before, I was really anxious.
Mm.
And then when I got there, everybody was so nice and kind. The lady took my blood. She told me she was a cancer survivor. It was so many plants
Wow.
that God was just like planting seeds when I was going through the different people, almost
Mm-hmm.
like the Wizard of Oz or the Wiz. When you're going through and you meeting this person and you feel like you
Yeah.
don't have a heart and they're teaching you that. It was like I was going through that. I just thought
Mm-hmm.
about that. But that's how it was going through that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was in the sitting there prepping, they were like, "Oh, your hair looks nice. Oh, your nails look nice." Like people were
Oh
so
my
nice
goodness.
and they were kind of calm because they're not even talking about what's
Mm-hmm.
happening. So then you feel at peace, and then people are not. But let me tell you, honey, when they had me in the wheelchair and they were wheeling me into the surgical room, it
Mm-hmm.
was like bright, it was white, and people lined the room, doctors. So if the heart stopped, the doctor was there. If something happened to my pinky toe, the doctor was there. Some like
Wow.
the anesthesia, like everything that could have gone wrong, the
People were ready.
specialist was in
Wow.
the room to be able to address it right there. Tell me that ain't God. Like,
Wow.
I mean, and this was the hospital just opened back up from
I was
COVID.
gonna say
It
COVID.
was,
This was during
girl, I
COVID.
couldn't have no visitors, nothing.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
right.
So the hospital, they made the hospital is of course not normally a COVID hospital, but that's what the hospital they made that one into. It was all COVID patients. And they
Wow.
had just, I mean, God was so strategic. They had just opened it back up. And
Mm.
when they wheeled me into the surgical room, when I tell you a peace just went over me, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared. When I hit that room,
Mm-hmm.
it was like God was like, and it was a
Yeah.
peace. And then I woke up, I counted backwards, woke up, and I'm in recovery. I'm like, your girl's still here. I made it through.
Oh
Yep.
my
And
goodness.
then the phones were ringing. It's, my
Yeah.
family and friends, wanting to know. Then the phones start ringing. So it was like, and now it's 3 years later.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And here we are. Okay. So let's go ahead and I have a couple more questions. I want to know, so then what advice do you have to give to others who are currently battling cancer or facing difficult times?
Mm. First, I have my prayers for them. And I hope that they do have the support and the comfort of God. And I know everybody doesn't have the same faith or belief, but when you're going through that, you need a higher power. whether you're Muslim, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Jehovah's Witness, whatever you are, whatever you read, whatever your belief, that you have something higher than yourself to count on, because you're not going to be able to get through it without some type of support in that manner, or people who are praying for you. And I would suggest to have positivity around you and people speaking life to you, not talking about if you die or when you die. You already know that that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So you need people around you to speak life and encouragement. And no, I don't, whatever stage it is, I don't know. Whatever cancer it is, I don't know. But don't just think automatically that it's going to take you out. You have to really replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts, and to speak life and keep calling out life and claiming that your life is not done yet and you're still here. So
Yeah.
just to keep encouraged, keep being encouraged, and have people around you that are speaking life into you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stay off
That's so.
Google.
Stay off Google. Oh, stay off Google. Don't
WebMD.
be looking up
Stay
stuff,
off
huh?
WebMD. Because Google will kill you dead.
Okay, WebMD. That is terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Leave it to the medical professionals.
Yeah.
Even if something happened, I get on there, my kids be like, don't get on there either. I'll be like, I'm not.
You already
I'm
looked it
not.
up. Yeah.
I was just seeing something.
Okay. You know, it's
I
so
was just
funny
seeing
when kids
something.
when kids
I'll be Googling something. I'll be like, ooh, my left shoulder. Because when you're diagnosed with cancer, you're hypersensitive to everything that's happening in your body. I went to the doctor today. I was like, sometimes it feel like something's going down. They were like, but is it numb? I'm like, no. They're like, okay. But I'm hypersensitive to everything now. And, I will Google something. I'll be like, let me just get off here. Let me get off here. I'm like, what does it mean when your right eye go like this twice? I'm like, what does it mean? I be like, and then my kids be like, because I'll say something to my, they'll be like, Mom, you Google? Nope, I'm not even Googling it. Nope, I'm not.
don't
I
Google
gotta
that.
talk myself out of Google. So I'm speaking from experience. Stay off Google.
Okay. Or I was gonna say, or find something to encourage yourself.
100%.
That gospel song is coming to mind. Speak
Yes.
over yourself. Encourage
Yes, that's the
yourself.
song. Yes.
Like
Yep.
I said, because a lot of people, I think we take it for granted, especially when we have communities, that there are some people out there
Who don't have
simply
anybody.
who simply do not. And so you have to equip yourself. And I'm not saying prepare for a rainy day, but maybe, I know I have things set up for myself. I call it my comfort kit, because it just gets like that. I'm like, I know what I need to do to make myself feel better. My comfort kit might include it includes Martin, because I think Martin is the funniest TV show, and I know
Martin. What's your favorite episode? What's your favorite episode?
I don't remember episodes, girl. I just love me some Martin. I love me some Martin to laugh. If I need a good belly laugh cry, I'm gonna put on some Martin and laugh my head off until I feel better. Some Martin, or I love some good soul music. I grew up around, Black folk in my family. We would always have soul on, so I would throw on some soul that make that comfort to my heart.
I love it.
Different things, and prepare yourself a comfort kit, and make sure it includes words of encouragement for yourself, because even
kit.
I love that kit. That's what I call it. And if you're gonna look up anything, look up some affirmations, words of affirmation, something to comfort yourself. What do you need to hear?
Yes.
Even when you're feeling good today, maybe when you get off of here, record, do a little voice memo for yourself, reminding yourself, hey girl, hey man, it's gonna be okay. We've gone through some hard times already, and we got through it. It's gonna be okay. And save that, title it, so that way when things do get hard, because we know the circle of life, it turns. Things are not always going to be good, and things are not always going to be bad, but at least you'll be ready. You'll be ready, like, okay, you know what? No, I have my own front and my own back, and this is what I did to prepare. And so I'm just saying, as I'm talking to Kendall, that's what came to my mind. Like, hey, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Me dancing and laughter.
Yeah.
Dancing and laughter. And like you said, music. I put on music, honey. I'll be dancing around here by myself. I'll be cracking up, singing, laughing.
Yeah.
I'm that person that'll laugh at themselves. I don't take myself too
Okay.
seriously, as you can see with some of my videos. Laughing and really not taking everything so seriously.
Yeah.
Some things in life, there's a lot of things in life that are already so serious, that are real and honest. The last thing you should take seriously really is yourself. And if you make a mistake, if you mess up, if something happens, people, I see it all the time. People are so hard on themselves, and it
Yeah.
causes them to lose joy and causes them not to really love themselves in that way. So then that perpetuates different situations they're getting into because they don't. Like people, people have standards that they may never reach for themselves. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to mess up. I'm not going to make a mistake. And when you don't take yourself too seriously, you breathe
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
It's a different type of air up there when you just look, different type of air when you really don't care. Okay. It's a different type of air,
Yeah.
when you gotta, relax your shoulders and just really just be okay, because everything is not a major catastrophe.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
had cancer, and I'm saying that
Yeah.
because there's enough hard stuff. There's enough bad news and horrible news. Like, my phone is blowing up like crazy now. I've gotten so many calls from my family and friends from all across the country about the bridge that just collapsed
Yes.
in Baltimore. As I'm doing this, my brother is calling. My aunt's called. My friends have called from the West Coast. My cousins have called. Like,
Yeah.
everybody is blowing me up. So that means the world to me, that people care.
Yeah.
Like, people, like my one girlfriend is in Vegas. She was like, I can't even go to work yet. I can't even get dressed until I talk to you. Please answer the phone. She kept calling me, but I was in the doctor.
Oh,
So
wow.
she texted and she was calling. And as soon as I saw it, I'm naked trying to get dressed. I'm like, let me call. She was like, okay, now I can get dressed for work. So
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
grateful that I have people that even
Yeah.
care if I was in that daggone accident. You know
Okay.
what I'm
I seen that this
saying?
morning. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
was like, oh
grateful.
my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my cousin, because I was traveling yesterday on the highway, and I was supposed to text her when I got home, and I was just so tired and stuff, I didn't text her. 5 o'clock in the morning, my phone is like blazing. And she's like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, what happened? So when all of that major catastrophes are happening,
Yeah.
like, some things are difficult, some things are hard, but some things people in life make hard and difficult when it's not that deep. And it's not telling somebody what is deep to them is not, but some things aren't. Like, some things are not a major catastrophe. It is only if you make it that way. And that's because people take themselves too seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to look at the facts. I could hear my cousin right now who was going to school to be a lawyer. She would always tell me, look at the facts, right? Because sometimes, I could be in the clouds and I always want to see the good in people, and I'll be describing something and I can make somebody look so good, and I could just hear my cousin's voice. But is that the facts? Look at the
That's
facts. Don't
see,
turn this, dead tree into a living apple tree.
ooh,
Look at the facts.
that's
What
so
fruits are you
basic and so
seeing?
deep at the same time. It's basic but so deep.
you know and look at the facts. Maybe things are not that bad. Maybe it's actually okay. And your mind is turning it into something that it's not. Look at the facts. And that's why I'm gonna always tell people, journal, write it down. I don't care how you do it. Me, sure, when I'm by myself, my desk might have bits of post-its everywhere, and I'm sitting looking at the facts like, okay, I really got to write it down and see what's going on, and bring it together and get it together, and that's just because I know myself. I know what I struggle with. I've got a handle on those things. But anyways, Kendall, how do you maintain such a positive outlook on life? And I think this will be our last question, because we could carry on.
Yeah.
We could carry on.
because I have joy in my heart that I didn't put there.
Mm.
And I have the choice because I can choose to not carry through with joy
Yeah.
every single day. Like I can make the choice. Like now we know situations going to happen, things going to happen throughout the day
Mm-hmm.
that pull you out of that joy. But really I'm making the conscious choice to create that joy, whatever that looks like. And living in gratitude and really counting my blessings opposed to the stuff that goes wrong. Anybody could sit there all day and complain and talk about everything that didn't go right,
Mm-hmm.
but it's doing ourselves and doing God a disservice for not even celebrating the things that have gone right and the small blessings that you have. You
Yeah.
know, waking up is the first blessing, putting your feet on the ground and you can actually walk. Some people don't wake up, some
Mm-hmm.
people can't even walk.
Yeah.
So it starts with the small ones and really keeping the joy throughout and making a conscious effort to make sure I stay in that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And it's so funny over here on my, I'm not gonna turn it around, my desk is a little messy. But over here I have a like a pencil holder and I recently put up like a little image and a quote that says, "You make your days good." And that was something that I had to remember because I've been there where it's just like, dang, like I'm like, dang, I'm really having a hard time. Some days I really
Yeah.
do be having a hard time, but I have to remind myself, no, you make your days
Yeah.
good. Even if
Yeah.
it's 5 o'clock and I done had a crappy day,
Yeah.
no, real yet. Shake that off. You make your
Yeah.
days good. Don't allow people, things, like you said, persons, places, or things,
Mm-hmm.
nouns. Do not let nouns take your day away from
Yeah.
you. Choose to have joy. Choose to make it a good day.
Yeah.
Choose to do what you got to do to make it a good day, and do that.
A
And so
hundred percent.
I'm right there with you.
A
Yeah.
100%.
Wow.
Because there are a lot of things that are not going to go right. There's a lot of things, doesn't mean that your life is perfect and void of any issues, troubles, problems, or concerns, but you choose how you're going to go about your day and what you're going to bring. What light are you going to shine?
Yeah.
There is a light in you. God put it there. So are you going to dim it? Or are you going to shine it? Because when you're shining, you give other people permission to shine, and somebody is going to ask about that joy.
Yeah.
In a warm hello or a gentle hug, will change someone's day. Truthfully,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hmm.
Well, my goodness, y'all, this was a great conversation. I'm going to post a replay on YouTube. So if you did not catch it here, you're just coming in, it'll be on YouTube later on today. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us? Upcoming projects? I know we have a project we're working on together.
Yes, well, I have all of my books. You can buy them on Amazon.com, Prime if you have that. But you can also, importantly, go to WINN, this woman here, publications.com, and buy all the books. There's journals. There's a bundle
Mm-hmm.
package over there is the bundle still over there?
Yeah, we took
The
that back.
bundle for some journals. You can get all my books on there. I'm excited because my little daughter here, my little sis, I came to her with another idea, and she was always down for my ideas, which I love. And we are putting together a compilation, I'll say that,
Mm-hmm.
for Mother's Day coming up. The lessons that you've learned as a mother or from
Mm-hmm.
your mother. So
Yeah.
I'll just give that little snippet, and that will be coming out. I'm excited about that. Yet
Mm-hmm.
another Win publication.
Another win publication.
Uh,
Yeah.
Another Win publication is coming to you. So yet another book, and this is going to inspire you because even though everybody is not
Mm-hmm.
a mother, they
Mm-hmm.
have been mothered, not 100% of people, but everybody. And it doesn't mean mothered by your mother. It could be a grandmother,
Yeah.
it could be an aunt, could be an adopted mother, foster mother, it could be a bigger sister, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be the story of not having a mother, because that is still a mother story.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. And we got a surprise for the men, I'll just say, within the book.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited about this one for sure. Just to
Yeah.
go down memory
Yeah.
lane is it's a beautiful thing. And so
Yeah.
someone said, "Thank Juba. What's up, Juba? Thank you so much for being here." She said, "Thank you for this combo. Love it."
Thank you for joining
Yes,
me.
this was so important. Y'all go and get your total health check. Your total from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Get it checked. Not just physically, but mentally as well, because those things are so important. If not for yourself, for someone who loves you, because
Mm,
you
that
are
part.
loved. You are loved, and we love you. If no one has told you that today, you are loved, and we love you very much. And so, this was great.
Yeah.
This was great. I can't wait to look at the replay, and share snippets of it here as well. And so, thank you so much, Kendall, for your time, your testimony, and your insights that you shared with us today. I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Yes, we will do it as soon, and we'll do something when the book is coming out, and we'll do
Yes.
things like that. But you know, I love you, and I
Love you so
can't
much.
wait to wrap my arms around you when you come to Maryland and give you that hug.
Yeah, are y'all come out to Florida? No.
Yes, but you know what? That may be too. Absolutely. I only said that because you said you
I
were
know.
coming to
I said
Maryland.
I'm coming
That's
to it.
why.
I've been trying to tell people, look, come to Florida too, but I'm gonna come see
Yeah.
you and then you come see me.
Look, I don't go no place I'm not invited to. So now that
I
I
hear
got an
you.
invitation, I'm gonna walk right through.
I hear you. Hey, this was great. All right, you
Yeah.
guys have a good afternoon. Have a good
Thank
evening
you.
in some places. And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you. Love
Bye.
you.
Love you, love you.
Bye.